Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Leaked data shows the number of coronavirus deaths in Iran is nearly triple what the government says it is. The government's own records show that almost 42,000 people died with the virus up to the 20th of July versus 14,405 reported by its own health ministry. The number of people known to be infected is also almost double the official figures. The official numbers would make Iran the worst hit country in the Middle East. Doctors with direct knowledge of the matter say the Iranian health ministry has been under pressure from security and intelligence bodies inside Iran to ensure the number of cases and deaths remains low. Australia's second biggest city, Melbourne, already under night curfew, has announced fresh restrictions on industries as it steps up desperate efforts to contain the spread of the resurgent virus. From Wednesday night, Melbourne will close retail, some manufacturing and administrative businesses as part of a 6-week lockdown, which is expected to impact 250,000 jobs. Victoria has reported 429 new virus cases and 13 more deaths, which is its second highest daily death toll.
It's incredibly difficult.
Meanwhile, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has announced that trans-Tasman travel is a long way off in response to the increase in infections in Victoria. Both countries had previously said international travel between them could restart as soon as September. Namibia has announced that schools will close for 28 days as virus infections have increased throughout the country. The closure comes after parents and teachers had threatened to demonstrate if schools remained open despite the rising number of new infections. The president has also tightened the rules prohibiting drinking in bars and taverns last week. The country has so far recorded more than 2,200 cases of COVID-19. The US giant Microsoft has confirmed that it is continuing talks to purchase the US operations of the Chinese-owned video sharing app TikTok. Microsoft has said it is looking to purchase the TikTok service in the US, in Canada, Australia and New Zealand and would operate in those markets. The tech giant hopes to conclude discussions with TikTok's parent firm ByteDance by September the 15th. The announcement comes after US President Donald Trump said he might ban TikTok from operating in the US due to the Chinese security threat. 2 American astronauts have splashed down as the first commercial crewed mission to the International Space Station returned to Earth.
Splashdown.
The SpaceX Dragon capsule carrying Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken has come down in the Gulf of Mexico. The touchdown marks the first crewed American water landing since the final outing of an Apollo command model 45 years ago. The Islamic State group has said it was behind a high-profile attack on a central prison in the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad that saw hundreds of prisoners try to flee. The attack began on Sunday evening when car bombs were detonated at the prison's entrance by gunmen. It continued through the night and into Monday morning, with the IS militants battling security forces. At least 21 people have been killed, that's according to a spokesman for the province. In Spain, firefighters have been battling a wildfire in the Madrid region that was sparked by a motorcycle accident, that's according to local media. Highways have been cut off and scattered houses in the region have been evacuated as a preventative measure. 16 crews as well as 3 aircraft have been deployed to tame the blaze around the sparsely populated Robledo de Chavela region, around 40 kilometres northwest of Madrid. A group of 78 migrants rescued by a Maltese armed forces patrol boat in the central Mediterranean have landed in Valletta. Some carried babies as they were brought ashore, checked and photographed on the dockside before being driven away on buses. Last week, hundreds of migrants crossed the Mediterranean in small boats. Many also landed on the southern Italian island of Lampedusa in a wave of arrivals, straining already overcrowded holiday centres. Thousands of households in northern and eastern parts of Thailand have been inundated by a flash flood after tropical storm Sinlaku hit the country, collapsing houses and damaging rice fields. A total of 18 provinces have been hit by the storm, which has left 2 people dead so far and has destroyed over 1,300 households. And finally, France is bracing for another blistering heatwave this week with temperatures of up to 40 degrees Celsius to the delight of the country's famous Gironde salt producers, for whom more sun means more business. Some of the world's finest sea salt comes from the flats, which lie in the western part of the country on the borders of Brittany, and local producers have been cheering what could be an excellent year. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.